So you might have been wondering what this little square rectangle is over here. And that is an OLED display, very small, 128 by 64. And what I'm going to do is show you some samples of some of the code that I'm assigning you so you can kind of get an idea of what the output is supposed to look like. So the first one is just a basic test that will display some text and a number that's counting. Okay, I'll go ahead and plug this in. Okay, so you can kind of see what that looks like. Now, there are commands. There's a huge library that can change all sorts of parameters for displaying lines, circles, characters, etc. You can also change the size of the text on there too. So that's the first step in the program. The next program here is the one that bounces the asterisk back and forth from left to right. There we go. Couple of things. If you go too far with your horizontal position, it actually ends up resetting. The other thing you need to be a little bit careful about is if you're only moving one pixel at a time, it's going to move very slowly. So you have to make sure that you're kind of going a number of steps each time that you're redrawing it. And as we move into our frigid winter weather here in Southern California, we'll have something that kind of animates what look like little falling snowflakes. The extra credit for this part is actually letting the snowflakes pile up as they land. So that'll be a little challenge if you want to try that. Now, one thing I did here that I thought was kind of cool is instead of using the potentiometer, I'm using the LDR. So all I'm doing is using A2 to read the light sensor. And then I can either cover it or shine some light on it from my phone. And it's actually plotting that voltage value of the brightness over time, which is kind of cool. Now in this example also, I used a function that will actually draw a rectangle, and you can use that also to create different squares or different rectangular shapes also. But that shows basically it creates a border. And finally, I wanted to do something that's kind of a throwback to my childhood. If I can get this to focus. Come on. There we go. And that's basically using the two potentiometers to like an Etch-a-Sketch. So if you played with one of those before, you can use it to create all sorts of patterns here, horizontally and vertically, like that. If you go too far, sometimes it'll reset the display. So if I go way too far, it'll turn the display or reset it, clear it. Okay, so those are just some kind of fun examples I came up with, just kind of off the top of my head. I'm going to include a link to a great Adafruit library that walks through a whole demo of all sorts of different things you can do, creating lots of different shapes. But hopefully this will kind of inspire you to come up with some different ideas of things that you can use the OLED for.